Good to see you. I'm so excited. It's almost like I haven't just seen you in like, holy cast.
No, it's actually just a tensor bandage. So,
Okay.
yeah, and right there, centimeter and a half.
Ooh, don't ask a man what that's like. They'll say it's three.
Size frickin' matters.
They're bad at measuring in my experience.
Well, it was a man that did the incision, so hopefully he did it right.
Guess one can
And
hope, hey?
anyway, so we had this whole little thing where we did a little bit of a help Noreen the last time we were together, and you
Yeah, I told
tried
you to meditate.
yeah, told me to meditate and said, just breathe and then count and do this box thing and just so you know, it did sweet F all.
I tried. Like I wanted that for you.
And the nurse that was there, she was amazing. She was incredible. And when it was hurting at its worst, she goes, "You need to breathe. Don't stop breathing." And I'm like,
That's what I say, ain't it?
oh. I was like, and then you went through my head, and I went, "You two can just bugger off right now because this is all you getting, and this breathing thing is not helping."
No, it just like it honestly like it's funny after we talked about that, I was like, it's like Lamaze. Like I was just like working you through contractions, in a way. And then when you told me that useless, like if anything, it's almost like it irks you more, especially if the nurse is like, just breathe through it, and you're like, fuck, Kelsey.
Well, I
Like
wasn't actually
I
mad
can
at you.
like
I was more in all honesty, I was more about breathing isn't helping right now because all I can feel is pain. It's just pain. It's just 100% pain. And nobody warned me for that part. Nobody. Like there was
like the
no,
actual. Didn't they freeze it or anything?
yeah, and I even told them, I said, I don't take freezing very well. So they gave me extra freezing, which that hurt too. I'm not going to lie, that hurt too. And that was the thing I was most worried about. And so then the only way I can describe it is like, the seam on the outside of your Lululemon pants? So if
I
you were to
think so.
pinch that with your thumb and your index finger and
Mm-hmm.
hold on to it and pull it away from your leg. And then when you've got it pulled away from your leg, go like this with it and then just let it snap back. That's what it felt like they were doing inside my arm.
So like when they what they were doing, was it like muscle or ligament, or like what are they
The
just
carpal
cutting it?
tunnel.
Yeah.
So they slice right here. They
Yeah.
slice right here, right at that little join where you bend. They
Yeah.
slice right there. And then there's the carpal tunnel that's in there. And what he
Okay.
said to me was, he said, then we're just going to peel it back.
Sounds gross.
I'm like, well, he
Honestly.
started to say, well, he asked me, he says, well, you can watch. I'm like, uh, no, are you kidding me? Like,
I'm not Hannibal
you
Lecter.
have no comprehension of how bad that would go.
That creeps me out. Like
So,
I don't even like people playing with like your nails and stuff. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
just I don't know.
yeah, yeah. So, anyways, yep. Um, honestly, from the time I got into the surgical room to the time I walked out, maybe 6 minutes.
Holy crap.
Maybe 6 minutes.
And yet you feel like it was probably 3 hours of pure trauma.
Well, no, that would be an exaggeration if I was to do that, but it's honestly, it's like I can't believe I can't believe how painful it was.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah,
So you don't
4
recommend
days.
other people getting it done.
Well, I mean, people have to get it done just in order to be able to have movement in your fingers, right?
So
In
it's
your
like carpal
hand.
tunnel. Is it like cartilage buildup or something? Or what is it that they're peeling back?
So they cut the tunnel open and then they peel that back.
And
Like they
like,
just cut it. So they give this little incision and then they cut the carpal tunnel and then they peel that off of your nerve. Like you've got a nerve that runs all the way up in that little tunnel,
yep.
and then you got all your tendons that go up into your fingers. and that's what
So is
controls
like
your
the
movement.
carpal tunnel a buildup? Like I know nothing about carpal tunnel, honestly.
Well, it's
Everyone
literally
talks
a
about
tunnel
it.
that your body comes with.
Oh,
Like
it's
your
already
body,
there. It's
it's
pre-built.
made. It's you were born with that little tunnel.
Okay,
But
I didn't know
with
that.
me, probably what happened was there's some arthritis right at that joint.
Mm.
So it has aggravated the nerve. So it has inflamed the nerve. So then it squishes everything else in the tunnel because there's only so much room in
Mm-hmm.
the tunnel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now the nerve is probably bigger than it's supposed to be, and things aren't moving the way they're supposed to.
Got
So
you.
they cut the tunnel so that there's nothing restricting everything that was purposefully built into that tunnel.
Got you.
Yeah. So I
But it's
now
done now. And you
done, thank
got,
goodness.
thank goodness,
I had a
you got
day
some
off,
nice
2 days off.
drugs, 2 days
Nope.
off.
Drugs, the only drugs I'm taking are Tylenol and Aleve.
Oh, that's no fun.
So no, that's okay. I'm glad I don't want those other
Yeah.
things.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
And how
So
long
I'll
recovery?
try the
6 weeks or
breathing next
something?
time. Pardon?
Next. Sure.
I haven't
Maybe
written
we
it
have to
off
have, we're gonna
completely
need
yet.
to have meditation sessions, you know what I mean? We're gonna just have to like sit together with our breath and practice.
Yeah, let's.
You sound so excited.
I am. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
you're
breathe
like
just fine.
6 weeks. How long till we golf again?
Well,
That's what I want to
four,
know.
yeah, 4 days with this thing on, 10 days until I get the staples out. Yeah, there's staples in me too now.
So
And
there's okay, but those come out.
yeah, they got to take them out. We won't think about that until the day
No,
before.
because then you can have time to practice breathing. You don't know how helpful it can be until you do it.
I don't disagree with you. I'm not disagreeing with it. It just didn't help me this time.
Fair. Fair, you're not practiced.
So probably 4 weeks, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
Cool.
I remember her saying at some point something about 4 weeks. So
Somewhere in all the 6 minutes.
exactly. It's
Oh,
like
that's awesome.
I just I think there's just certain times when your brain shuts off
Uh-huh.
and you don't like you're listening, but it just goes whoosh. Like I just don't think.
Meditation.
I I don't think meditation would have made it retain.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Maybe, but
Maybe.
sure didn't this time. Yeah. So we're on road to recovery now.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad because I'm glad that it's done. I'm glad that it was probably more traumatic than it needed to be for 6 minutes. But I'm sad the breathing didn't work. I really thought I was going to win that. That I was just going to be like, here's some breathing exercises, and boom, you'd be set to roll. Um, but clearly not. Clearly, it's not that easy, I guess. Um,
Well, maybe it's the pupil, not the teacher.
I'll take it. uh, um,
Whoa.
you
Oh
want to hear
well.
about my
It's okay.
day? I
Well,
did
actually,
a
let's just back up a second because
sure.
I think people need to know that. So the last time we were doing anything together, this whole thing became a thing, and we were actually in person together.
I'm
So
gonna insert it like right here. So start with, and I'll cut off, like I'll edit it a little bit, but to start with, um, okay, so you're gonna go. You got surgery tomorrow, but
So I got surgery tomorrow.
and you
So
feel
it's
like a
freaking me
mess
out
because
because
you've been crying all day
yeah, because I got a needle and staples after.
and you're
And I
paranoid
do
and you're
not
scared
like that part.
shitless.
And I'd rather be put out
Right.
if this is the things
But
that
it's
I
only a
gotta do.
15-minute procedure, and they're not gonna do that for you.
Well, they don't need to. Like
Right.
I need to stop being a baby.
Okay. Okay. Well, meditation.
Yeah, have you heard of Eat, Pray, Love and that one? That's the person that I become when I meditate.
Okay. So like
I hear the clock ticking. That's
so
how I
you're like
meditate.
eat, pray, love girl, and you're in India, and you're like, you just can't. You're just like, this is silly.
Well, my brain doesn't shut off.
Right.
So,
Okay.
because I'm now, so then I'm like, okay, I got to meditate. I got to meditate. And all I can think about is, but I'm not really meditating. And I still think about the fact that I'm going to get the needle and the staples.
Right. Okay. So, like, in my mind, the meditation process, like, it could be as simple as you going driving and or walking. Like, to me, walking is a meditation. And, but like, when I get a needle, I don't like them. They don't bother me. Like, I'm not, but I wouldn't go have my blood drawn for the first time ever in my life. And, or I've had jaw surgery, whatever it may be, and that needle has to go in.
Mm-hmm.
And, or you're at the dentist and they're freezing you.
Yeah.
And it's just like, my thing is I literally wait. Like, I'm so scared, but I'm almost like put onto a high alert, and I'm so focused on what they're doing, and I'm almost creepily like, I want to breathe in and then breathe out as soon as they insert. So I
Sure.
almost go to like I've even, my dentist has even said, you meditate, don't you? Because I literally will, like, as I'm sitting in the chair, like, because there's like, I don't know if it's called box breathing, or there's different types of like breathe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
For meditation breath work, but it's like in 3 out 6, right?
Yeah.
And so like, as soon as I know it's coming, I start breathing. I start doing the breath work, and it's like, and then as soon as I see he's getting geared up, I breathe in, so that the instant the needle goes in, and it's like, I let the pain just,
Perfect. And so we were standing in your brand new house that you are so much in love with.
yeah,
And we were having like a good old, we had a nice walk, and we went and did our little tour of your house. And
it was fun
then we had a great visit about all the stuff that we're going to start
doing.
podcasting. And my
Mm-hmm.
brain hasn't shut off, as your texts
That's
probably are.
exciting. But it's exciting though, right? Like, I feel like this is like what it's about. It's like, how much energy can you create? I do think that that's, oh, I wish I had like thoughts about this, because I feel the same way. Um, there's almost like an inability to rest for thought of what could be, of like the next thing, of the next, like what's, like, there's such an
Agreed.
ambition or a drive and excitement in
Well, it's like
in the
everything that happens.
process.
Yeah, everything that happens in my life right now, it's like, that's something. Like, we would have talked about it off the cuff.
Hmm.
Wouldn't even dawned on us in any way, shape, or form. We'd have just been going about a visit between us, and we would have just, all of a sudden, things would have just started. Now, instead of just being off the cuff, I'm literally trying to diarize things that I think would be really cool to talk about.
I do too.
So,
So, I've got my 1 minute a day video that I'm
right,
doing,
right.
and already, so before we even started this, I already, like, when I scroll social media now, or news, every time I do that, I'm looking for things where I'm like, how can I take this? Or even like, I'm walking down the street and I'm observing something or whatever it may be. And it's like, how can I take this and like put my impression on it, or my thought, or articulate it and like put it out into the world? How do I just share my perception of things? And same thing now, it's like I've almost got like two columns. It's like, what can I just be? This is something I individually am interested in, and what is something that me and my podcast could talk about, that it's like, we really need to like go in depth. We need to explore this a little bit and have some back and forth, and I
Yeah,
want to see someone else's perspective.
yeah. 100% agree.
Totally.
100% agree. So what
And
happened
I
today?
think I've got like
How was your
7
day?
of them. Good. I'm sure I've got something there where I was like, oh, this is going to be a good one. This is the one. And mostly, though, it just went really poorly off the start. I don't know if it's just because of like the time of day. I've been told that that is the major factor in why my day felt like everything just went wrong. But I got to the airport, I got through security, everything was easy. except for that I realized I had no sunglasses or glasses, and being that I'm gone for 40 days, I was like, this sucks.
Well, can I go
So,
get them and send them to you?
no, I have at least here, I've already got a pair of glasses, so I'm at least covered off on that. And um, when Robert comes, he's going to bring me my sunglasses. But I was just
Okay.
like, I'm standing outside of security and I'm going, I have 25 minutes to boarding. Could I do it? Could I go out and back through security and make it to the flight? I decided not to. I decided I would just buy a pair of like cheap sunglasses and survive, but if I needed them. But I was really there. And then I just felt like I was surrounded by like awkward people for the next 3 hours, like getting on the plane, being on the plane, getting off the plane, getting the rental car. It was just like every person just made and so I was telling Robert about this, and he goes, maybe it's just you getting up at 4 a.m. Maybe that had a factor. Maybe. Maybe. Um,
So you were up at 4 a.m. to catch a what time flight?
6. Gotta
Okay.
be boarding by 5:20.
Yeah. And this was flying out of the local airport up in Saskatoon, right?
Yeah, Saskatoon, yeah.
So, yeah,
I much
well,
prefer Regina. Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Oh, I would. Mm,
Like I just
wow.
don't honestly like I think I've flown out of Saskatoon once before and I didn't really notice anything different. Like I didn't have anything bad with it. But this time I just didn't like it. But man again, maybe it was just 4 a.m. me. And 4 a.m. me was not a pleasant person today. Maybe it was
Well,
me. Maybe I'm the common
uh,
denominator.
well, you know what? I think it's good to have retrospective into your own personal day. I really do, but I also think that there's probably other factors that played into it. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna look at you and say, "Oh yeah, it was completely you." I'm pretty confident it would have
That's
been
fair.
lots of other factors too.
There was like I just like the one guy that really sticks out for me, and I don't know if this is just me being like again a bag, but I'm in aisle seat. I know there's a guy beside me because when I booked the ticket, the guy was already there. He walks past the seat and then goes, "Hey, miss, I think I'm sitting beside you." Well, now all of the line has come up, and then he goes back that way to put his bags away. Meanwhile, I'm already up now. It was just such a like a train wreck of sequence of events, you know what I mean? Like put your bag up, walk up to the chair, I go back, you go in, I go in. Maybe I overthink this. I don't know. It was like people just
You know
wanted to
what?
be in the way.
Yeah, well,
Am I
here's
being a
the
bag?
thing. No, I think your spatial awareness is very heightened and your aptitude for people to be organized is high and you like things to be orderly. But
Yeah,
there's
it was
sometimes when you just
confusing.
got to go, this is not my problem.
No, I
Not my
just I let it
problem.
go. Like in the moment, I just let it go. But my brain is just like, ugh, this is like 12 times more complicated than it needed to be.
You made it way more important in your world today than you
I
needed
did. So
to.
I'm at this point, I'm agreeing that maybe it was just 4 a.m. me. I like at that time of day,
Could
I
be.
was just I
Maybe
was
your
just,
tolerance is a little lower because
maybe I
yeah.
should have had more than to eat. I.
Maybe you should just wear your sunglasses into the airport and then don't take them off until you get to your destination.
I have done
If
that.
you're flying at 4 a.m.
I have done that. It wasn't a
I
4 a.m.
am not
flight.
seeing anybody.
You definitely get looks also. Like people are just like weirdo. And I'm just like, I
Yeah,
don't care.
no.
Okay, I have
I
another
wear my
one for you.
sunglasses through the airport all the time.
Honestly, I just feel like a rock star.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's even better. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you
It's
want to
like,
do it then?
yeah. That's how
Like,
I feel. I just
and
feel
then
like the
and then to
sunglasses,
add
like
to it,
sunglasses at night. Like I just feel like I'm somehow something special. And
yeah, and there's lots of times when I have a hat on at the same time. So I'm like, "Ooh, I wonder if they think
yes,
I'm like somebody
a
special."
celebrity. Yeah, totally. And you like have like a
Yeah.
just, yeah. No, I feel you. I vibe. I'm vibing. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I
have
think it's
another one for
hilarious that
you.
we see it the same. What?
Um, you wanted to tell me about paddling, and it's fairly recent, so I thought maybe we'd talk about it while it's
Oh,
a
what?
recent paddleboarding
Oh, yes.
because
So I went
it's fairly
paddleboarding out on
recent.
the creek.
Yes, you did all
Yeah,
by yourself.
on Father's Day. Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah. Well, it's kind of relevant because I do most everything by myself. So
Hmm.
I phoned up a friend and I said, "Hey, do you have a paddleboard or a kayak?" And she goes, "No, I don't. I don't paddleboard." I'm like, "Oh, okay." She says, "Why? What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, it's a perfect day to go paddleboarding. So I just thought maybe you wanted to join." So, okay. No, she didn't. And I went, okay, I'm still going to do it. So load up my paddleboard. And as you know, I live on the creek, but
Hmm.
the easiest way to get your paddleboard in, they've put it every summer, they put that dock in.
Yeah, I've seen
And
it.
so I load up my paddleboard in the back of my truck, drive the 30 seconds it takes me to get to the dock, put my paddleboard down, and then get ready. And then I paddleboard. I paddleboarded for an hour and a half out on the creek.
That's
And I
incredible.
saw wildlife. I paddleboarded with pelicans and mallards and Canada geese. I even saw a beaver. I'm
Oh my
like,
gosh, that's my favorite.
yeah, I was in, and it was incredible. It was, now I'm like, why don't I do this more often?
No
It's that
kidding.
apprehension of not wanting to do it alone. And then
Hmm.
once I did it, this was the greatest thing to do. So, yeah, made me
You
feel
haven't, that's
very
awesome.
calm.
Good.
Hmm.
Do you
Yep.
think like do you think that paddleboarding, because this is like doing things by yourself is actually like a really interesting conversation because I remember having, I don't know if someone said it or I read it somewhere, but a lot of people are actually like afraid to do stuff alone, particularly in
Oh,
public. You know,
yep.
like it's almost taboo to go to a restaurant and have dinner by yourself or to a
Oh,
movie
yeah.
theater by yourself, right? Like
Oh,
people,
yeah.
for whatever reason, like they're, I don't know if they're scared or if they're afraid of like opinions.
Well, you get judged.
Do
You
you?
100%, absolutely you do. So I've done all of that all by myself. I've gone on a hot holiday by myself. And that at that like on a hot holiday, I went to the Dominican.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
So you're not really noticed as being alone until dinner time. Cuz at dinner time
Mm.
everybody goes to the
They pair up
restaurant,
or they get with their group.
right? And now everybody's paired up. Well, I walk in and I'm by myself.
Yeah.
So the first night, I almost turtled. I almost went, "No, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do it." But I did it. And then once I got there, it was like, walked
Say
in,
it so
went,
bad?
"Yep." Like in my head, this is all just happening inner
Yeah.
dialogue.
Yeah.
People looking at me, and I'm going, "Yep, I'm alone. Yep, I'm going to sit down. Yep, I'm going to order a drink. Yep, I'm going to order my meal. Yes, I'm going to sit here and eat it. And I'm going to order another drink. And then I'm going to take off all by myself." And I'm so glad I did it.
That is awesome. That is cool. Like that is like such a big, that's actually a really big adventure to go
Mhm.
to the Dominican by yourself. Like holy moly. Like
Yep.
like that's, I just like kudos to you because like I don't know, like I think I'd want to. I don't know if I got the balls for it though, but I have no problem going to dinner by myself though, or a movie. Like
No.
if
Yeah.
anything, I just sit there and go
I've
like,
done both of
I
those
wonder
too.
what kind of mystery that person is. If like, if I'm like thinking about how I look to other people, it's like,
Yeah.
but I've always really liked like the idea of like I'm the mysterious rich aunt. So I just kind of like
Yes.
So I just kind of like imagine that even if these people have no idea who I am, I'm just a mysterious person in a restaurant. And I also I notched it up a level. I've usually got a tablet or an I laptop with me, and I'll like if I'm really willing to like push the limits, I'll like pull that out and start like tinkering away and just like really make the mysteries. Well, I wonder what they're thinking.
Well, I'm
I
way
like
old
I just
school.
love it.
I do the pen and paper thing. I take that in with me. I take my
Ooh,
little notepad in and
that's
I got
good.
so that's when I usually organize my thoughts or I'm usually organizing my day or whatever, for the next day. So that's
Yep,
how, yeah. But yeah, going to
that's
dinner,
good.
I couldn't tell you how many times I've done it by myself.
And yet
Many.
I have heard of people who like they just like couldn't fathom. Like they just
No,
like
they'll go
no.
to
I
McDonald's drive-through instead
yeah.
and go back to their room and then okay, now I'm good. I'm safe. I'm in my room because I don't have to be
It's
in public
it's
with anybody.
wild. Blows my mind. I enjoy it almost.
Mhm.
Um and you know what though that totally ties into oh what was it? I read a list somewhere recently. Have you heard of high agency? So okay, that's I did see it recently. It was this guy on Twitter, he just wrote a thing. George Mack. George Mack um, has some kind of claim to fame. I honestly can't even remember what it is. Sorry, George Mack. But he wrote an article about high agency. um, Here, I'll try Googling him so I can say, because I totally don't even
I'm doing the
remember.
exact same thing right now.
Um,
Is it George Mack, Mack?
yeah. What's he famous for? George Mack. I thought he had some kind of he built some business and sold it, and now he's like just some, some rich guy. Indie Racing League
Realms of
driver?
Motorsports and Content Creation.
Yeah, that might be it. He's got this.
He is
He
a
recently,
former Indy Racing League. He's a Indy Racing League driver.
yes, I didn't really connect that, but he has this. I didn't realize that's what he was famous for, but he has this blog thing, I guess, that he just started on high agency, and like 20 CEOs have responded to him saying this is required reading for all their staff. And 30 people have said this is like the most amazing article they've ever read or something. Like it like completely changed the way they think about some stuff. Um, but basically it's the idea that their high agency people are able to go against the grain of the crowd or go against the herd. So like if most people are a herd mentality and it's like it's you just you don't eat dinner by yourself. That's weird.
Yes.
Then to have high agency is the ability to almost not feel awkward about the fact that you're going to go for dinner by yourself.
Or
Um,
push yourself to build something or create something or not just rely on other people to provide you with a lifestyle, like
yeah,
meaning like a job or a spouse or all those kinds of things. Here it
yeah.
says, I just looked up what is high agency. It says high agency is, in essence, the capacity and proactive mindset to positively influence one's circumstances and achieve desired outcomes rather than passively accepting them.
So here's like the big question that's posed to determine if you have somebody in your life who's high agency.
Okay.
And I've actually seen this a couple of times, and now I'm kind of connecting some dots. But um, you wake up in a third world jail cell. You're only allowed to call one person you know to get you out. Who do you call?
Huh. Okay.
And the idea behind this is why, so like basically if you had to try and pinpoint a single reason why that was the person that you wanted to call, could you label why? What's that something that they would have to get you out of a third world jail cell?
Wow, that's thought provoking.
There's three main things that they think that this guy thinks come together. Clear thinking. They've got to be able to think through all of the things in the right sequence of events that would get you out and not get them caught. They have to have a bias towards action. They can't be like, oh, man, you're in a jail cell in a third world country. Yeah. And then just not go anywhere with it. And they have to have a disagreeability with the world to be able to go against the idea that, they could have to come up against police, they could have to come against whatever, and they're willing to like go to bat. Like you'd think like a lot of lawyers technically should probably be some degree of high agency people because um you'd hope anyways that they would
They
fight
could talk their
against.
way out of everything.
Right. But there's this whole
Yeah,
thing. It's
yeah.
actually really interesting to read through. Um, how do you define and like so basically, are you a high agency kind of person, and or who do you know that is? Because these are people who generally will find a way to do
To
something,
make it work.
anything, anything. Yeah. So here's some things you can ponder. How to spot high agency people. I'm not all of them, but I think I do pretty good actually. I think I might be a high agency person. Mine is my fear of authority, but that's a different one. Weird teenage hobbies. So this could go back to like we had a conversation about not having friends for a period of life. I,
Yeah.
right? Like that would be like so basically in your teenage years, the hardest time to go against social pressures. If you can go against the crowd as a teenager, you're probably going to be a high agency adult. Basically, can you do as a teenager, did you do things that were not cool? I didn't have friends, so I think that counts. And
Yeah,
I
in the
don't know what
same
else I
boat.
did. Treadmill energy. If you meet with them and you're tired or defeated, you leave the room ready to run a marathon on a treadmill, max incline. So basically, if you meet up with somebody and you are like pumped after hanging out with them, they're you or them are very possibly because there's just like something about being with them that's like sparks something in you and you're like, oh, I gotta go do stuff. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah. Amen to that. Just look at us where we're at right now.
Yeah, exactly. So to be honest with you, when I read this, I thought that too. I immediately thought it. You can never guess their opinion. So a boxer who writes poetry, an advertiser obsessed with the history of war. So like as an example, it's like you have a stereotype for somebody, and when you ask them about something, and it's like totally out of left field, like that's not you don't look like the type. That would be an example of like, and I can see it. I can't think of anything right now, but there's definitely been people where I look at them and I go, I didn't expect that of you.
Yep, I would say the same thing. I would say the same
Immigrant
thing. Yeah.
mentality. So like you've moved from your hometown, you've moved countries or something, like you've relocated over time. It's really hard to do that. I feel like that one, I honestly don't think that one's as big of a deal because I feel like the world's more global. I don't think removing
I agree.
I don't see that as big of a deal. Sends you niche content. Um, High agency people look at the content and spot upcoming trends. So it's like if people share stuff with you, like is it new and innovative or is it more like gossip, I guess, in a way? Mean to your face, nice behind your back. This is like the opposite of what most people would think, right? But
Yeah,
social incentives are
exactly.
being nice to people's faces and gossip behind their backs. So to do the opposite means they're swimming against social tide. That one I thought I was very interested in that kind of. Um,
Yeah.
quick quit something of prestige. The miserable management consultant who breaks free from their golden handcuffs to become a stand-up comedian has to overcome momentum, social shame, and this cost-sunk fallacy. So like being able to just like, yeah, that's a big one.
That's huge.
Um, they don't trust, they verify. A low agency trap is to be hypnotized by groupthink. High agency people refuse to passively download the current thing without verifying themselves. This one struck
I would
me
agree with that.
100%. And you know what struck out the most for me, especially because it's coming back around full circle? COVID. The amount of people who were like, no, I'm not taking that vaccine. I don't care what the government says. I don't care what anybody says. I don't believe they've done enough testing. I don't believe whatever. But I think that COVID was an incredible, like, I'm not saying that all of it was right one way or the other, but you got a real good visual of the people who were like, I don't care what you say. No,
Yeah.
even as governments mandated it.
Well, there is a
I
definite separation in our culture that who were accepting of it and who said absolutely not, never doing it.
Right. And like so this is an example of one where like I don't know that I fall into that necessarily. That's one where I actually think I am not high agency. I think as a general rule, I probably follow the crowd when it comes to stuff like that. That's where that whole um I think
I
I've
get
gotten
where you're
better
coming.
over
Yeah.
time. I think I've gotten better over time, but I think I default to and I even so far as like I might even have to hear something and maybe not commit, go away and chew on it before I can come back and say yes or no.
Yep. Yep. I agree.
But I might
Totally.
my knee-jerk reaction might be to just follow the herd, but
You
not
think so?
like, well, like I don't know how to explain that. Like I think if there's something that comes up to me, but I don't necessarily agree with it, I may not commit, but at the same time I won't say no either until I've had time to like probably Google
I'll
stuff
give you an
and
example. I'll give you an example.
mm,
So COVID comes and we all have to get this stupid vaccination, right? And I was holding out till the very last. I wasn't going to
mhm.
do it.
See, you're
But
high
then,
agency.
but then the problem came when, well, if I
Travel.
wanted to continue working, I
You
had
need
to
it.
have it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I need to pay the bills. Like, can't not pay the bills.
Hmm.
But I was very long in agreeing
Against
that
it.
I was going to do it. Not
Hmm.
not against it, but I've never had any of the boosters, and I won't.
I don't think I have either. Can't remember.
Yeah,
I
I
don't think I
won't do
have though.
that.
I think I did. Like I think I drew it out a long time. Like I don't the COVID example. I don't think I did get it. Because I was the same way. Like if I needed to work, but I know that there are people who still have this like work with them, and they still to this day have never gotten it.
Yep,
And
100%.
right? And you know what? And so like really like that to me is like the even higher degree of high agency because even under the pressure of financials or whatever else, they were like, no, I will not compromise.
Yeah.
And
Well, I have a friend who didn't compromise, and
yeah,
so her family, like, took some trips, and she couldn't go with them. Like,
yep,
substantial trips, like, they weren't just, like, a trip
yep,
close somewhere,
no,
and
yeah,
she still has not got the COVID vaccine to this day. Her life now, it's all back to normal. We can go wherever we want, COVID or no COVID anymore,
yeah,
and it's fine. But, yeah, she took that road, and she stuck on it, and she never wavered once.
fascinating. And so that's what I like. I just
Mhm.
I've learned a little bit from that, but at the same time, I can't honestly say that I would have done anything different in high. Like I don't know if I could have done anything different. Like it's so hard. It was so hard.
Well, I had to do it the way I had to do it because I had nobody else paying my bills,
Oh,
right?
100%. Yep,
I
absolutely.
had to.
I'm no
Like I had
different,
like
really.
I don't know where I would have went to work had I have not had the job I had because anything that I was doing was like it was an environment like any kind of job I would have been potentially been able to take or do would have been mandatory COVID shot because
Yeah,
you're working in an
100%.
office environment.
Well, and then my other worry was travel. Like I think I went home to BC at one point through that period for Christmas, or just after. Like I think everything had kind of relaxed a little bit, but they were still like to get on a plane, you had to prove you had your COVID shot. Like
Well, you
it
remember
was
we had
still,
that Sask Vax or something like that. Remember we
yeah,
had that,
yeah, yeah. A little piece of paper. I think I even got it on my phone.
or or yeah, we had it on our phone because you could go. You actually had to have it to get into a concert. When I went to the Eric Church
Oh
concert in
yeah.
Saskatoon,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had to show that I my Sask Vax was updated. I'm like, anyway,
Sometimes
but
I'm mind blown
yeah.
about the world we lived in. The last two are self-taught learning machines or question the question.
Yeah.
This one I thought was interesting. Before rushing to answer your question, they question whether it's even the right question. So some of these I felt like I could identify with, and some of them I was like, I think I'm a little on the edge. But it was interesting, and I feel like it tied right in with like the whole being able to go do stuff by yourself, and like, and then it's amazing though, like you said, how confident you feel after.
Oh,
How
yeah.
like you're just
Yep.
empowered by your ability. Hey,
Yeah.
yeah.
100%. 100%. Yep. How's the sunburn?
I am curing. Much, much better. I'm still kind
I
of red
spent all
though.
day out. I spent all day out in the sun. Can you tell me? Can you tell?
I mean, I think you look even more like a bronzed goddess than you did before, but
Oh, oh, you are
yeah,
so sweet.
I'm still red though. You don't really see it as much. Like I'm redder to me than it is on the camera, but like I'm just not meant for the sun. I'm a moon
No,
goddess.
no. You are the moon. Yeah, I'll be the sun goddess. You be the moon goddess. We're
Okay, that
yin and
sounds
yang.
good. Yeah, 100%. I think all the
Yeah,
balances,
yeah.
that's good.
I agree. I agree. So I'm always very conscientious of your time, and I'm looking at the
Yes.
clock going, it's 9:30,
It's about my
and
bedtime.
you've
But you
been
know
up
what's
since
great?
4.
But I get to like sleep in tomorrow.
Well, yeah, kind of, but not.
Because it's going to be 9
So,
now, but I'm not going to get up at 4 tomorrow. I'm going to get up at 6.
but I'm just thinking, my little beautiful moon goddess,
Yeah, yeah. It's time to shut her down. I hear
we
you.
should, we should cut this one off tonight and say,
Okay.
uh, see how this one edits and where we go
Yep.
with it.
Sounds good.
I'm excited to see what you're going to do with it now.
Me
And
too.
then, and then, schedule when we're going to do it again.
Yeah, we got to come back.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But I want you to get some sleep.
I appreciate you, Noreen.
I appreciate you too.
Have a good night.
You too. Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams. Bye bye.
Bye.